Welcome back guys, this is Shrikant. Today we are going to talk about difference between count of star, count of one and count of a column. This is a question which is asked by one of my subscriber over the comment section. So I'm happy basically people are asking question and they are requesting us to create video. So that's a great thing. Thank you so much. Okay. So if you people like our video and like our channel, please don't forget to share and subscribe with your friend and community. Okay, so let's start. Today's topic is difference between count of star versus count of one versus count of column. Okay, it looks like if you are a beginner, sometimes we get confused as count of star, count of one, and count of column, specific column will always give you same result. So it makes assumption in our mind that it will always give you same output. Okay, to demonstrate this, let's create a table. Create table hash test with a column id. Fine, and just add data type as int, and let's create this table. I'm trying to make this demo as simple as, so I'm creating from the scratch. Then do some insert into table. Let's say we are adding a first row, select one, then we are doing union, then we are again adding one more value. Along with this two value, we are going to add two more value. Fine. I'm making it as 3. I'm making it as a 4. Okay, let's select the query, let's run the script, and we will see 4 rows affected, and this means that 4 rows has been loaded into the table. Let's do a query and see the output. I can see 4 rows are there in my table. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go with the count of star. So first of all, let me talk about the count. Count is an aggregate function. There we have multiple aggregate function, like we have sum, mean, max, count, right? So we have few aggregate function. Out of those aggregate function, we have one function which is count. Count actually does what? Count the number of rows in a table, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write count of star, and again I'm going to write count of one, then I'm going to write count of a specific column, and in this case my column name is id. I'm going to run this query and let's see the output. Okay, I can see this query has created 3 dummy column, and value I can see is 4 4 4. So output for all these column is same. Great. Then what's the difference actually? Everything looks same. The output looks same, right? The way we write it's like same one, right? Instead of star we just replace one and then the id, which is basically column. So what's the difference actually? So I should use count of star, or I can use count of one, or I can use a count of column, right? If there is no difference, then there is no point to use it. Okay, from here we start actual demo. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add one more row in this table, and the value for that row is null. Let's do that. Let's run the query. One row loaded. Now what are we going to do? We are going to write a select statement here. Select star from hash test. Let's select the query, let's run the query and see the output. I can see there are 5 rows. Out of 5 rows, 4 rows are having value 1, 2, 3, 4, and one of the row basically, which is the last row, is not having any value, and that value is saying it's a null. Okay, fine. Null means nothing. Now again we are coming back here and we are going to run the same script. Fine, let's run it, and now you will see what happens. The moment I run the query, I am going to see that there are 5 records. That's fine, and the count of star gives me output which is equal to 5. Then count of 1, which is giving me output as a 5. Then count of id, basically count of a specific column, which gives me output as a 4. So what's the difference? Difference is of 1. If I go with a count of star, if I go with a count of 1, then I get a 5 row, right? And or the 5 value basically. And if I go with a count of a specific column, I get a 4. Then what happens? Basically, I think you guys got my question, and I think you got the answer also. When we do have a null values in a column or in a table, that time the output get disturbed, and we always need to have a proper defensive condition, proper logic, and we should be clear what are we going to write. If we are pretty much sure that the uh, column would not be problematic, that it won't have null value, so it will always give me the number of rows in a table, then you should always go with a count of column. But sometime what happen, while inserting data into the table, null values get loaded, and our expectation is that I will get the number of count or number of rows in output, but sometimes it get excluded, the null value get excluded, and it shows us output without a null, and the count of star get disturbed, or the count of value which is you are expecting, which is wrong, or which get basically which is correct, but as per your expectation it should be the different, it should be something different, and it shows something different, right? So basically difference is when you go for the count of star, that time it will include the null values in a table. If you go with the count of a specific column, that time it exclude null values. So in this case, when we go with this count of star, it has included the null value, so it is showing me 5, and when I go with a count of a specific column, it shows me 4 because it is excluding the null value, as it has excluded it, right? And the remaining one, the middle one, the count of 1, what exactly that 1 represent? 1 is an integer value, basically it's a constant, it's not a column number. How could I demonstrate? For example, this table are having only one column. Lot of people think if I say 1, it means it will simply take a first column. No, it's not like that. Let's say I'm going to place 1 to 2. As my table are having only one single column, I'm placing here 1 to 1. If it is considering the column name as a first column, then it should always check or validate the column number. So if I place count of 1 to 2, will I get any error? No, you should not get any error because it's not considering column. So when you say a count of a specific integer value or anything, like if I say 2 here, then it's just simply reflecting the all values with the 2 in a row, so it will give you the output of all the number of rows, and it will include the null also, right? So this is basically difference. When you go for a count of star, when you go for a count of value, or when you go for a count of column, always remember that if you are dealing with a null value, so you should be very cautious about the output. So hope you guys enjoyed and learn a lot from this video, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.